Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Isaiah, the 46th chapter, Babylon's idols and the true God. And here, similar to the message that Isaiah has been conveying, really coming from the Lord in the past few chapters, signifying to Israel, right, how much more proof do you need to see that you already have the one true living God, and these other gods are idols, right? So there's no need for you to continue to seek after these idols and these false gods of these other nations, because they can't do anything for them. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 1. Bel boweth down, Nebo stoopeth. Their idols were upon beasts. Now, Bel, I believe that was another name for Marduk, which was one of the chief deities of the Babylonians. So Isaiah here was prophesying the downfall, okay, of Babylon, and in particular how their idols would be helpless to save them in that time. And also when you go into the book Bel and the Dragon, right, in the Apocrypha, that's where you get the name Bel from, right? Or they're using the name Bel because that book deals with the one of the chief deities of the Babylonians, right? That was what a part of that story was about. Daniel slaying that beast that they worshipped as an idol. So as it says here, Nebo stoopeth, their idols were upon beasts. So the bowing and the stoopeth is symbolizing, like being in a weak or low position, right? Like that of a prisoner almost being taken captive. Their idols were upon beasts, meaning they had to be carried, and upon the cattle, because that's what they would do, right? Sometimes they would put the cattle, carry whatever it is, be it via like a cart, okay, or some contraption that they would put something in and place it upon the backs of the cattle to carry it. So as it says here, your carriages were heavy loaden, they are a burden to the weary beast. So in other words, Isaiah is saying your idols, rather, because when you read on down, you'll see the comparison between these idols and the Lord. Isaiah is saying here, and your idols, rather than them carrying the people, right, which in a spiritual sense would be to bear the burdens of the people, to deliver them, and to make sure that they're taken or safe from different calamities, they themselves have to be carried. Okay, then and that too on the back of these animals in which they're wearing. So they're basically like dead weight upon the backs of these beasts being carried about. Verse 2, they stoop, they bow down together, right? Both the idols and their worshippers, they could not deliver the burden. See, so the idols couldn't deliver the people from be it another nation that came against them or whatever calamity they were in, which is likened onto a burden, right? They couldn't help them escape or deliver them, but they themselves are going into captivity. So the both the idols and the people were taken captive, without having the power to deliver themselves. But in contrast to the Lord, verse 3, hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, right? To be born, meaning to be carried. So the Lord is saying here, from your inception, which are carried from the womb, so from the time of your birth, from when you come on the earth, I carry you, right? I bear the weight of the things that you need to survive. So much to the point where we don't even realize some of the things that the Lord is constantly doing for us, that we may be preserved and live. Getting your daily bread, right? Even having bodily functions perform the way they perform every day without fault. These things are all orchestrated by the Lord. Verse 4, and even to your old age, I am he, and even to hoar heads will I carry you. So the Lord is saying, look, I'm a faithful God. I'm your God, right? I carry you. I bear you in the sense of like to uh, uh, lift you up as to where these idols are being carried. I'm the one carrying you from the time of your birth to the time of your old age to your death. That's the old age and the hoar hairs. Hoar meaning gray hairs, so one that is old. So even till then will I carry you, and that shows or highlights the faithfulness of the Lord. I have made and I will bear. So I made you and I will bear you, right? I will bear your burdens. I will protect you. I'll take care of you. Even I will carry and will deliver you. To whom, and this shows you just how much the Lord loves Israel, right? Because here it is. This is how the Lord feels about Israel. And yet you got, you know, our people completely disregarding that, going after idols that can't even speak to you. To whom will ye liken me and make me equal, right? So who can you compare me to? Who can you look else at in the universe and say this, yeah, this God is like the Most High, or the Most High Yahweh is not the only one that can do this, and compare me that we may be like. So who else can you compare to the Lord, to the Most High, as equals, or even be remotely like the Most High? They lavish gold out of the bag, meaning they pour out of their money bags gold, right, lavishly with ease, and weigh silver in the balance and hire a goldsmith. This is going into, worshiping the idols, right? So they'll pour out the gold, they'll pour out the silver, they'll weigh out a measurement. They'll hire a goldsmith, one that is one whose job it is to, they'll make the idol, and then they'll plate it or coat it with gold and silver, and he maketh it a god, right? They fall down, yea, they worship. So out of their own pockets, they provide, resources and money to make these idols, and then they bow down and worship it like it's a god. That's got to be a mental sickness. They bear him upon the shoulder, they carry him, the idol that is. And typically you'll see this in like a setting would be, you may have like a group of men, maybe four, right, maybe more, and they may be carrying what looks like is it a palanquin? Not palantir. See if I'm spelling palanquin. Yeah, yeah, there you go, something like that. And in it you would have either like a shrine, an idol, whatever it's in there. So that's like an example of them bearing it upon their shoulder. So they bear him upon the shoulder, they carry him and set him in his place, right, in his temple or in his shrine. And he standeth, from his place shall he not remove. So they place it upright. That's what it means by standeth. They place the statue or the idol upright, and it doesn't move from there because it's an inanimate object. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. So sometimes you'll see, like I've seen this in some of those like those Bollywood soap operas, if it's themed in like either a a Buddhist country or some country where they worship idols, you'll see the one of the characters, maybe a woman or whatever, go up to the statue. Sometimes they'll have the actual idols in their homes, like a shrine, and then they'll go there and then they'll pray to it. They'll close their eyes and they're praying and they're crying, bowing down before it, and, oh, please, 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 let this happen, or don't let this happen. It can't answer, and it can't deliver you. And then whatever they're praying for ends up, you know still going against them. Verse 8, remember this and shew yourselves men. And then what they'll do is, as they're doing that, a slight breeze blows through the window, right? Just because there's trees outside and it got a little windy. And then all of a sudden they go, oh my gosh, that's the sign that the idol heard you, heard your prayer. Remember this and shew yourselves men. Now, so the Lord is saying, like, keep this in mind and shew yourselves men. Here in this sense, it's more like, use reasoning, use logic, right? Like think like a man, because back then, which just generally, that's one of the characteristics, right, that the Lord bestowed upon men. Not saying that women can't use reason as well, but if there's a balance, right, or a scale of maybe logic and reasoning versus emotion, you would have women would tip more to the emotional part of the scale, um, as to where men would tip more to the logic and reasoning part of the scale just by nature. So by showing yourselves men, meaning stand firm and think about this, not with emotions, but with just facts. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. So bring this back to your memory, right into the memory, ye transgressors, because Israel was going after these idols. They were transgressing against the Lord. And he is constantly reminding them by way of the prophets, what you're doing is likened unto madness, because these idols, they're not alive, but I am. Look at what I did for you, right? Verse 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am God. Remember when I parted, right, the Gulf of Suez, the Red Sea, and made dry land for you to walk on that. When I had that chariot protecting you, when I made it rain down manna from heaven. Remember all these things. When I plagued Egypt on your behalf, when I came down upon the mount, spoke with Moses in your presence. Remember all of these things. What God do you know that does that? I've showed you that I'm here through actions. When you go off, I punish you and you feel the punishment. When you're in trouble, I deliver you and you know that it's me. So remember those things, for I am God and there is none else. I am the Most High and there is none like me. So there's nobody else that's doing these things but the Lord. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet. See? So the Lord's letting you know, like, I'm telling you, that's why the Lord has prophets, because they're the mouthpiece to make public the things the Lord has declared. So before the ending has even come to pass, the Lord has told you this is what's going to happen at the end, because he's the one who has orchestrated it. He wrote the script. So he declares what's going to happen in the future from the past. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done. So in the ancient times, right, in the past times, he declares the things that are yet to come, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Meaning that the reason the Lord is able to do that is because the things he has counseled and purposed to do are not going to be um, voided or made null. And so he can do whatever he wants, and he can declare the end from the beginning, because the end will not stray from what he has declared from the beginning. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country, yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. So the Lord is, as he mentioned, right, I will do all my pleasure, and he gives some examples to show the things that he can do, right? I.e., commanding, when he mentions the ravenous bird from the east, meaning to command the spirits of the birds, of the animals, as he did with Elijah, to feed Elijah, right? Or calling a man, or putting into the spirit of a man, as it says, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country, which lines up with Proverbs 21:1, that the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord. So, in when you have different people in different parts that do certain things, it's because the Lord puts it into their mind and their spirit to do so, right? Anybody, that is. Yea, so this is general. It's not like a specific one individual here. Yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. See, so once the Lord has given the word and declared it, he's going to make it happen. I have purposed it, meaning it's my determination. I've set my mind to make this happen. I will also do it. Hearken unto me, ye stout-hearted, meaning you're stubborn-minded, that are far from righteousness. And that stubborn-minded, that hard-headedness is what led our people to be far from righteousness, because they didn't want to listen. So the Lord says, listen, hearken. I bring near my righteousness, it shall not be afar off. Right? So I'm gonna bring that righteousness to you. I'm gonna make it real easy and clear and right there for you to take hold of. It's not gonna be something you gotta, run miles just to find. And my salvation shall not tarry. Right? That salvation is gonna be the salvation of Israel, which is gonna come with the deliverance of the Lord's elect. Right? So he's saying that it's no longer gonna tarry. It won't take long. And I will place salvation in Zion, which shows you right there. Like, this is the Lord saying this. Why is he specifying Zion if salvation is for anybody that believes in Jesus? Zion is referring to a specific people. It literally says here, for Israel, my glory. So the Lord says salvation being placed in Zion means that it's only pertinent to those of Zion or those of Israel. Why? For the glory of Yahweh, the God of Israel. Okay, Bahasham Yahushai, because it is through Yahushai that the Lord will accomplish these things. He's going to use Yahushai to do it. And that brings us to the end of the book of Isaiah, the 46th chapter. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodesh. And until next time, Shalom.